Fuchs in the house. How's everybody doing on a Sunday? Yeah, it's about lunchtime. So decided to do the video. It is cold where I'm at, so I went outside to throw some recycling and the walk. It's a good, like, half a block kind of you have to walk to. By the time I got back, I didn't wear gloves, and it's I think 0 degrees out. And yeah, I was just like, wow. I mean, it'll wake you up, but it is cold out, and so why not do a video while it's cold out? And uh, I don't know. I don't think you can get a good view, but it just just a straight out cold. Snow's on the ground. It's not going to be melting, and the way it sounds, we're going to have this for a solid week. So that's going on, and going to do some movie talk, go over some movies. And thanks to all the subscribers, anybody that's a new subscriber, appreciate it. And please make comments. There's all kinds of videos out there that I have, more or less, again, talk more or less movie talk. And there's other things that I do, some stuff in the kitchen that I do, some recipes and stuff. But I'm going to try to mix things up a little bit, do movie talk about some, serious stuff, maybe a little bit, change it up. Hopefully I do this a little different. I'm going to try something. So this morning I had my mom over, and we've been doing YouTube with church service. And it's something for me. I was not and I didn't do the weekly church service, but with the COVID thing, I've had her over, and we've done church. My dad's not the morning person, so every once in a while I'll get him over. But yeah, but it's something that I spend some time with my mom, and something that we just have an hour that I usually never really had. So it's kind of nice. And it's kind of different, is that I am kind of more watching church services a little more that during COVID than when it wasn't COVID. So I guess something for me, a positive spin, I guess, on something with COVID. And I hope people, I mean, with the crazy times, and I do the videos, try not to go crazy on stuff, but I speak my mind every once in a while. So you guys hear, there's so much out there with YouTube. If you look at the videos and the topics, it's like you need another person pushing stuff on, do this, do that. And, every once in a while I do it, but try not. I stick with the movie talk. Why not? I think it is something different. I guess I should be setting this up a little more professional or something, but I have fun with it, and I appreciate people. Every once in a while I get some comments. I don't care. I mean, any of the videos that I do, throw some comments out there, even if it's some older videos. And if you watch some of the movies that I've recommended, or you've seen them, and you disagree and you're like, that movie sucked or whatever, please go ahead. I have no problem with it. Speak your mind. And so with that, I'm just going with the basic today for lunch, because I had breakfast with my mom. I'm just doing a baked potato, and I got some shredded cheese, and that's going to be my lunch, and going to do something for dinner later. So that should hold me over. But yeah, if you guys are looking for something that's just something a little basic, make yourself a baked potato and put some cheese on there. It is great. And, dress it up, sour cream, whatever. Enjoy. So that's my lunch. So let's start with some movie talk. I'm going to do it with the DVDs first. And then after that, maybe talk about some other stuff. DVD wise, let's see how I want to do this. I'm going to go with Cuban Gooding Jr., Way of War. More or less an operative that kind of gets screwed, and he has to try to figure out what happened and why things went the way they did. Decent story. An action movie. I put it in the average. I'm not going over the top. Academy Award type of movie. Just something if you're looking for something. A Cuban, if you're a Cuban Gooding Jr. fan, movie's not bad. Next one. Get the Gringo with Mel Gibson. Basically, Mel Gibson ends up getting arrested in Mexico, has to try to, survive. He befriends a kid and his mom, and it's more or less trying to survive and how to get out of prison. It does a good job. It's a good storyline. So if you are looking for something, that one I think you'd enjoy. So again, that's so far I'd have Get the Gringo and then Way of War second. Next one, Liam Neeson, Run All Night. More or less, he has to. Liam Neeson's son gets caught up in. Liam Neeson used to be like a hitman for the mob, and kind of loses it. And his son gets grown up, doesn't want nothing to do with him, but ends up getting involved in the mafia's boss's son ends up getting killed, and they make it look like he did it. So Liam Neeson has to survive the night and keep his son alive. Ed Harris is in it. Does a good job. This one I recommend. Tombstone. I forget Walk Amongst the Tombstone. I didn't like that one. So, and it is in one of my videos previous, but for this one, I'll give that a good. And then last one I have for DVD is Hostage with Bruce Willis. He's a negotiator that I think it's LA. He has a negotiation that doesn't go right, and he ends up going to a small town police force and ends up getting caught up in a hostage situation. This one is for violence. I definitely there's some scenes that I wouldn't allow. I would give this a straight R. I don't know if it did get R or not. I'm taking a look here because if it's PG-13, it was rated R. There's a couple dark scenes in it, so I'll give you a heads up on that. Again, decent storyline. So all those are my DVDs, and I'm going to kind of change it up before going to some of the streaming. Is something I get a kick out of is, so if what's going on is I noticed that again, I'm going to throw out my don't do drug kind of story. Is there's a story I saw today that somebody got busted trying to get 2 tons of narcotics in from Mexico. And it comes to a point for me is like people have to stand up a little bit themselves. You can have all the government programs and don't do drugs. There's got to be some heart and mind if you're an addict, and you have to be willing to take that step. You can go to all the counseling you want, get all the meetings, but if you're not putting your heart and soul into it, isn't going to help. But when you're hearing 2 tons of narcotics, and that isn't even, this was in Mexico, and then there was, I think, a seizure in Florida the other day that was pretty off the wall. And it's to a point where it's like, that isn't even making a mark for what these busts are doing. It's still coming in. So something where I wish the people of the United States would start taking a little responsibility, not worry about the media talking to them, not worry about the government. It's got to kind of come on them. I'm not going towards the marijuana thing because that's, when you have states have it legalized and it's more than, 5, I think I don't even know how many now I have it legalized, but it's more than 5, I think. You kind of have to take the marijuana thing a little off the table, which that's fine. As long as you don't abuse the shit out of it. I'm not going to judge on, but think it was Oregon, though, and if I'm wrong on this, they have a thing that if you get caught with a little heroin, it's I don't know if it's a misdemeanor or if you don't even get busted. And for me, it's like when you're putting something where you're saying it's okay to have any kind of heroin, that's I don't know who the hell's thinking that stuff up. And if somebody disagrees with me, fine, but I mean, marijuana, heroin, I don't know about the stuff. I really don't. But just hearing that kind of stuff, it's like, come on, people, um, take that time. So that's my, I guess, talk about don't do drugs, and I just hope people look at themselves if they're going down a road that they shouldn't. And trust me, I'm probably doing stuff that it's like clean my do a little better. Um, it just be healthier and better outlook on life, I think, without having the hard drugs involved in your life. Um, so yeah, this is the just say no speech, everybody, that I just had. And so my last, go back to my movies and a couple streaming movies. One is going to be High Voltage, 1997. This is just a regular action between the 80s and 90s. If you watch this movie, you'll kind of understand if you're from that genre, that era, how the movie, you've seen the type of movie. Basically, these guys rob a bank that ends up being where the mob's keeping their money. So they kind of hit the wrong bank. Antonio Sambato Jr. and Shannon Lee are in this. If you're looking for, again, just a regular action movie, it's okay. Nothing bad, nothing great. Next one, history. Went with a movie called Rommel, 2012. And this will be General Rommel for the World War II. And it could have been a little better for me on how it presented itself, but for a storyline and history, it's kind of interesting. It more or less the invasion of Normandy at the time frame they kind of go over and what Rommel's doing. And in history wise, there were a certain number of generals that attempted to assassinate Adolf Hitler, and ends up Rommel really wasn't involved with that, but he was around the generals that were dealing with it. So he kind of got thrown under the bus for this. And it comes down to is if Adolf Hitler would have probably stepped aside and let Rommel and his generals do a little more of the work, it would have been an interesting, different World War II, to say the least. But yeah, it just interesting story. If you're looking for, again, I'm one that I liked the movie Patton with George C. Scott, and so there's a thing in Patton that Patton I think goes to Africa and he defeats Rommel, but Rommel's not on the field, so they kind of discredit a little. But there's a scene where Patton makes a comment, I read your book, and so kind of reads up on Rommel on how to defeat him with his own strategy. So it's kind of interesting. So I decided to watch Rommel to see how, that point of view. But more or less, it talked about his dealing with Germany, and again, the things going around him that the generals were trying to let him in on what was going on, but it was like the timing just didn't work. Something would come up when they were about to say something. And so he never got associated with it, but Hitler thought he did. And so it's kind of interesting on how that played out. And my last one is a classic Western, El Paso. John Payne. For Rommel, Ulrich Tukor is in that movie. He plays Rommel. Does a decent job. El Paso, 1949. This kind of John Payne and Gail Russell. A lawyer from the East ends up coming out West and ends up having to fight the corrupt sheriff and politics that are going on. It's kind of funny as John Payne is the lawyer in Miracle on 34th Street, and here he's doing the same kind of thing in El Paso. So it's like, yeah, be a lawyer, do Christmas, and do a Western. Why not? So those are my movies and my talk. I hope everybody enjoys. Again, cold here, so if anybody's dealing with the cold, stay warm. Enjoy my videos. There's playlists that I have. Those kind of have more obscure movies on it. Like, I kind of took the popular ones out because it's like, yeah, let's go with the obscure movies to show and reflect. Some of them, again, nothing extra, but it's fun that I enjoy doing this. So thanks, everybody, and have a great one. Bye.